I eventually told him that I thought it was about my sexuality, and he was super sweet about it.
Sara Gilbert was known as the heart and soul of Roseanne, the witty, sharp-tongued Darlene Connor who grew up before our eyes and became one of television's most beloved characters. But behind the laughter and success, Sara's real life has taken a turn that's left fans genuinely heartbroken. From her struggles with fame and identity to her quiet battles away from the cameras, the latest news about her life is both shocking and deeply sad. Once seen as one of Hollywood's brightest child stars, Sara seemed to have it all: fame, respect, and a career that transitioned seamlessly from acting to producing. She even created and co-hosted the hit talk show The Talk, proving she wasn't just a talented actress but also a powerful voice in the entertainment industry. Yet recent revelations suggest that beneath her calm and intelligent exterior, Sara has been facing emotional and personal challenges that few ever suspected. In recent years, she's chosen to step back from the spotlight, leaving many wondering what really happened. Why did one of television's most influential women suddenly disappear from the public eye? And what pain was she carrying behind that quiet smile? What's come to light paints a picture of a woman grappling with loss, isolation, and the heavy burden of a past she can't quite escape. Today, Sara Gilbert's story is not one of fame or fortune. It's one of heartbreak, courage, and a search for peace in a world that never stops watching. Sara Gilbert's story began long before she became a household name. Born into a family deeply rooted in the entertainment industry, she seemed destined for the spotlight. Her grandfather was comedy legend Harry Crane, one of the creators of The Honeymooners, and her older sister, Melissa Gilbert, had already achieved fame as Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. Growing up in that environment, Sara didn't just inherit talent, she inherited expectations. Her big break came in 1988 when she landed the role of Darlene Connor on Roseanne. With her sarcastic humor, dry delivery, and emotional depth, she quickly became one of the show's standout characters. Fans loved how authentic she felt, a teenager who didn't fit the Hollywood mold, who was real, flawed, and relatable. As the show skyrocketed to success, so did Sara. She became one of America's most recognized young stars, earning critical praise and the kind of fame most child actors could only dream of. But fame at a young age comes with a price. While others her age were enjoying high school life, Sara was juggling scripts, long working hours, and public scrutiny. She later admitted that growing up on a hit sitcom made it difficult to discover who she truly was outside her character. "I was Darlene to everyone," she once said. "Sometimes I forgot who Sara was." After Roseanne ended in 1997, Sara chose a different path from many of her co-stars. Instead of chasing fame, she went to Yale University and graduated with honors. Her intelligence and quiet nature separated her from the chaos of Hollywood, and for a time, it seemed she had successfully escaped the pitfalls that trap so many child stars. When Roseanne was revived in 2018, fans were thrilled to see Sara back as Darlene, now an adult navigating the same struggles she once faced as a teen. The revival was an instant hit, but the joy didn't last long. After the show's cancellation following Roseanne Barr's controversial remarks, Sara found herself caught in the middle of a storm she hadn't created. As one of the show's producers, she faced backlash, guilt, and immense pressure to rebuild what had been lost. Determined not to give up, she spearheaded The Connors, a spin-off that continued without Roseanne. The show was a success, proving Sara's strength and leadership in one of the toughest situations in television history. But behind her calm and professional demeanor, there were signs of emotional strain. Around the same time, her personal life was unraveling. After nearly a decade together, Sara and her wife, musician Linda Perry, announced their separation in 2019. The couple had been seen as one of Hollywood's most stable and loving pairs, and their split shocked fans. Sara rarely spoke publicly about the pain, but friends revealed that the breakup deeply affected her. Balancing her career, motherhood, and heartbreak took a heavy toll. Despite her success, Sara began quietly withdrawing from the public eye. She stepped down as a co-host from The Talk in 2019, citing the need to focus on family and personal growth. But those close to her say the decision was also fueled by exhaustion. Years of emotional pressure and trying to live up to everyone's expectations had finally caught up to her. In recent interviews, Sara's tone has been reflective and somber. She spoke about the challenges of fame, mental health, and finding peace after heartbreak. "You spend your life being seen by everyone," she said. "But sometimes, you just want to disappear for a while." It's in that quiet withdrawal that the sadness in Sara's story begins to unfold. The story of a woman who gave so much of herself to the world, only to realize she had little left for herself. To the public, Sara Gilbert always appeared calm, thoughtful, and in control. Whether she was playing Darlene Connor or co-hosting The Talk, she carried herself with quiet intelligence and maturity. But behind that composed exterior, she was silently fighting emotional battles that most fans never saw. Her years in the spotlight had taken an invisible toll. From her early teens, Sara had lived under constant pressure, not just to perform, but to be perfect. Growing up in Hollywood meant that her private life was rarely her own. Even as a child, every expression, every outfit, every word was scrutinized by millions. Over time, that scrutiny began to shape how she saw herself. "It's strange," she once admitted, "because people think they know you, but what they know is a version of you that was written by someone else." After Roseanne ended, Sara quietly stepped back from acting. She focused on education and later on building a family, seeking the kind of normal life she had missed in her youth. For a while, she found stability. Her marriage to Linda Perry seemed like a partnership built on deep respect and shared creativity. Together, they raised their children in what appeared to be a loving home. But as the years went on, cracks began to appear. The pressures of balancing a high-profile career and family responsibilities started to wear her down. When their separation was announced in 2019, Sara didn't issue any dramatic statements. True to her nature, she handled it privately. But insiders revealed that the breakup left her devastated. Sara loved deeply, one source said. When it ended, it wasn't just a marriage that fell apart, it was a part of her identity, the heartbreak. Came at a time when Sara was already carrying the emotional burden of The Talk as the show's creator and one of its most recognizable hosts. She had poured years of effort into making it a success. But in 2019, controversy erupted when co-host Sharon Osbourne's heated on-air exchange led to public outrage and internal conflict. As executive producer, Sara found herself in the difficult position of managing the fallout while also protecting the show's image. The stress was overwhelming, and by mid-year, she made the decision to leave. In her final episode, Sara fought back tears as she thanked her co-hosts and fans. "This show has been such an incredible experience," she said softly, "but I need to spend more time with my family." Though her words were calm, her expression said more than she did. She looked tired, drained, and emotionally spent. After stepping away from television, Sara almost vanished from the public eye. She stopped making red carpet appearances and gave very few interviews. Friends described her as reclusive and focused on healing. She spent her time raising her children, writing, and quietly reflecting on her next steps. But those who knew her best said the silence masked a deep sadness, the kind that comes from years of holding everything together. In a rare conversation, Sara hinted at her internal struggles. "I think we all have moments where we question our purpose," she said. "You work so hard to build a life, and then one day you realize you've been running on empty." The latest reports suggest that Sara has been dealing with ongoing mental health challenges, including anxiety and burnout, issues she's been open about in the past. Her friends worry that the years of emotional strain, heartbreak, and constant reinvention have left her feeling isolated. "She's always been strong," one longtime friend said. "But even the strongest people need time to find their light again." Today, Sara Gilbert's quiet absence from Hollywood speaks louder than any interview could. She's no longer chasing fame or recognition. She's searching for something far more meaningful: peace. But as fans learn more about her private pain, it's clear that the path to healing has been long and difficult. When Sara Gilbert quietly stepped away from the public eye, Most fans assumed she was simply taking a well-deserved break. After all, she had spent more than 3 decades working in front of the camera. But as time passed, it became clear that her retreat wasn't just about rest, it was about survival. The emotional toll of years in the entertainment industry had finally caught up to her. Those close to Sara say that her decision to leave the talk marked a turning point. It wasn't just about wanting more time with family, it was about reclaiming a part of herself that fame had taken away. Sara reached a point where she realized she'd been living for everyone else's expectations, one friend revealed. She needed to breathe again, to rediscover who she was without the lights, without the pressure, without the constant judgment. For someone who had grown up on television, walking away wasn't easy. Fame had been both her blessing and her burden. It gave her a platform, but also trapped her in an image that no longer reflected her truth. In the years following her departure, Sara began to distance herself from the industry completely. She turned down roles, avoided interviews, and rarely appeared at public events. Even her social media presence dwindled to almost nothing. Friends and former co-stars noticed the change. Laurie Metcalf, who played Sara's on-screen mother on Roseanne, once described her as deeply thoughtful but guarded. Others said she was the type of person who carried her emotions quietly, never wanting to burden anyone else. "Sara's the kind who feels everything deeply," another colleague said. "When she's hurting, she retreats. She doesn't ask for help. She just disappears." That quiet withdrawal has worried fans who have followed her since childhood. Reports suggest that Sara has been dealing with bouts of depression and loneliness, especially after the end of her marriage and the constant scrutiny surrounding her career decisions. Even so, she continues to prioritize her children and close family, trying to create a sense of normalcy far from the chaos of Hollywood. In a rare interview snippet from a small podcast appearance, Sara reflected on her life with an honesty that startled listeners. "People see you on TV and think your life must be perfect," she said softly. "But sometimes, the hardest thing is pretending you're okay when you're not," that one line captured. The quiet sadness of someone who had spent years hiding her pain behind professionalism and poise. Sara's journey mirrors that of many child stars who struggled to find balance after early fame. But unlike others who spiraled publicly, she chose silence, not because she didn't care, but because she didn't want her struggles turned into entertainment. "She's never been one to chase headlines," said a family friend. "She values authenticity more than attention." Still, the latest updates about her life are undeniably sad. Sources close to her say Sara has been living a very private existence, rarely seen outside of family circles. She's been focusing on raising her children while quietly working on small creative projects from home, writing scripts and mentoring younger artists behind the scenes. Though she's not completely disconnected from the industry, she's chosen to remain in the background, where she feels safer and more at peace. Fans who grew up watching Roseanne remember her as the fearless, witty Darlene who always spoke her mind. But today that spark seems dimmed, not gone, but subdued by years of emotional weight. Still, those who know her best insist that Sara is trying to heal, one day at a time. "She's not broken," a close friend said. "She's just rebuilding, quietly, patiently, and in her own way." Perhaps that's the real message behind Sara Gilbert's silence, that even the strongest hearts need time to mend, and sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is simply step back and start over. Sara Gilbert's journey through fame, heartbreak, and personal struggle has been anything but easy. From her early years on Roseanne to her role as a co-host and producer on The Talk, she has faced challenges most people could hardly imagine. Behind every smile and witty remark was a woman carrying the weight of expectation, loss, and emotional exhaustion. And yet, even in the darkest times, Sara has shown resilience, determination, and a quiet courage that many fans may not fully appreciate. Those closest to her say that Sara has spent the last few years seeking balance and healing. She's stepped away from public life not because she wants to disappear forever, but because she needs space to process her experiences. Time with her children has become a priority, as has reconnecting with herself. The part of her that existed before fame and heartbreak shaped her every move. Friends report that she's focusing on mindfulness, therapy, and creative projects that allow her to express herself without pressure. While the end of her marriage to Linda Perry was deeply painful, Sara has approached it with grace. She has prioritized her children's well-being above all else, maintaining a respectful and cooperative co-parenting relationship. Observers note that this focus on family has been both a source of strength and a reminder of what truly matters. She's learned to define success not by career milestones or public approval, a family friend explained, but by the love and stability she can give her children. Sara's story also highlights a broader truth about Hollywood, that fame and talent do not shield anyone from pain. Her struggle is a reminder that even those who seem strong, confident, and unshakable on screen can face deep emotional challenges behind closed doors. The latest news about her life is sad, yes, but it's also a testament to her resilience and the quiet battles she continues to fight every day. In reflecting on her life, Sara has spoken about the importance of authenticity and self-compassion. She acknowledges the sadness, the heartbreak, and the mistakes, but she also embraces the lessons they've brought. "I've learned that it's okay to step back," she said in a rare conversation. "It's okay to take care of yourself before anyone else. And it's okay to let the world see that you're human, even if it's uncomfortable." For fans, this is a poignant lesson. Sara Gilbert may not be in the public eye as much as she once was, but her story resonates on a deeply human level. It's a narrative of talent and triumph, yes, but also of vulnerability, heartbreak, and the courage to heal. Her journey reminds us that everyone, no matter how famous or successful, faces moments of struggle, and that finding peace sometimes means stepping away from the life you built and rediscovering the person you've always been. As Sara continues her quiet journey, she demonstrates that strength is not always loud and healing is not always public. The sadness surrounding her latest life updates is undeniable, but so too is the quiet hope that she is reclaiming her peace. One day at a time. Sara Gilbert's story may be sad, but it is far from over. And in her search for balance and self-love, she offers a powerful reminder that even after heartbreak, life can be rebuilt with courage, care, and quiet determination.